Welcome back to the channel. All right, tier 7 basic catalyst. I don't have a lot right now, and probably neither do you. But we're not that far away, and don't think I'm going out on a limb, at least not as much as I normally do with my predictions when I say, I think our first rank 4s are coming really, really soon. Let's have this conversation. All right, taking what it's going to be for the vast majority of us, our first champion to rank 4, probably our first like 5, 6, 7, 8, they're going to be really rare, really special, and I think we're going to want a lot out of them. Now, of course, you know, I do the monthly tier list updates, right? We do that every single month, and February will actually be the 50th anniversary of doing those. And that's just like, it is a little bit more in-game player, right? And I just did the best 6 stars to rank 5 for upcoming players, people ranking their 6 stars who have really meaningful impacts on their accounts, and the 5 stars too. But this is going to be good for everyone who's just even thinking about ranking up their 7 stars, taking to rank 2, rank 3, or actually rank 4. Now, I have 4 principles. I almost did 3, but I have 4 principles that I am going to use to guide myself through my first rank 4s. Probably all of them for quite a long time, but definitely the first 1 through 3 or 4 or 5. And now here's the first one, okay? Your favorite champion. Now, I'm very lucky in that my favorite champion also happens to be, in my opinion, the best 7-star available in the game. Yes, not just her class, but in the game. She's relevant in every mode, in every single place. She's incredibly strong and incredibly unique. But even if she wasn't, I highly doubt, and I've been saying this for a long time, that you would enjoy your favorite champion is a crappy champion in MCoC. If they are, you know it. And the chances are that that's not your favorite because you probably enjoy someone who's powerful. So take up that first one. It's special, it's unique, and you're going to want that. And you're not going to want to be disappointed by it. If you feel like, hey, my favorite champion might not be good enough for this, that might be a sign. And then you're going to move on to step number 2 here, which is a strong champion with potentially an important SIG. And I'll cover that when I go over the best ones in each class. Or someone that will that you are happy to invest in. Meaning, like, if there's someone who really benefits from SIG 200, right? And you're happy to invest in them, then go ahead and further that investment. It'll feel good. You'll be happy about it. You put all those 6 stones you've been getting from the Koreanist Challenge and Necropolis and all that, throw them in there, make them as powerful as you possibly can. You're already investing. It's a thing that most of us do anyway, sometimes to our negative, right? In this one, it would actually be a positive. Make that champion that you like investing in, make them even better. And someone strong. Go to my general tier list, or we'll cover it in the rest of this video for you. Number 3, if they're still like, I'm not so sure, Vega. Number 3, a champion that is extremely strong in a mode you love. Okay, champion is extremely strong in a mode you love. Now, I happen to love Photon, but let's go ahead and use Spider-Ham because I think Spider-Ham, is a phenomenal champion in MCoC, very highly rated on my general tier list. Myself and the Illuminati obviously see that, ranked highly in the Battlegrounds tier list, and that's where he's strongest. That is where he's strongest. Being able to get a lot of those fights over quickly, being a bit of a dual threat that you can place in Battlegrounds. So go ahead, if you love Battlegrounds, who's dominant for you in Battlegrounds? Who do you enjoy? Make them as strong as you possibly can, while everyone else only has 1 or 2 or 3 rank 4 champions, right? You might face Yusafa. It could happen, so someone might have 4 or whatever. Go ahead and do this and get as much bang for your buck out of that early rank. So if your favorite champion, you're still a little unsure, a strong champion with a SIG that's really important to you, you're still a little unsure, then go to step 3, a champion that's extremely strong in a mode you love. If you love Alliance War and you get assigned a certain champion lot, or you use them to clear your lane, do that because you're gonna have fun. I hope they don't get banned, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's just the way that mode works. And then last but not least, and it is least, last and also the least, and I'm actually telling you, don't do this. I did Prestige Chase like 5 years ago, excuse me. It's not fun. It's not fun, it's not enjoyable, and it's constant. But if it's something that matters to you, if your alliance does AQ and they're trying to have a pretty good score, have that be like a tiebreaker. Don't let it be your main thing, because then you just have a prestige champion. And if you don't enjoy playing him, you're not going to use him. And you basically just got yourself a champion that sits on the shelf and does literally nothing. Don't do prestige. All right, let's go to the best champions in each class. All right, utilizing that rule set, obviously I don't know who your favorite champion is, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the way I'm going to analyze this using those rules, okay? Kind of removing number 1. For me, it's America Chavez, but for you, it could be different. So I'm removing that. And I'm just going to go straight to 2, 3, and 4. Every class is going to be a little bit different. We're on Mystic. For me, the obvious number 1 choice is America Chavez. She's good in every single mode of the game, yes, including long form. She was actually helpful in Necropolis. She's not dominant there, but she's good. She's good in Battlegrounds. She's good in War. She's phenomenal in Questing. She's phenomenal in all of them. She's an amazing dual threat. You just can't go wrong. And also, she's incredibly, incredibly unique in her class, which is pretty interesting given how unique the Mystic champions are, especially this came out over 2024. But to the best of my knowledge, she's the only one that can invert power gain, who can invert buffs, who gets insanely strong if the champions only have 1 buff, and she's actually pretty good if they even have 0. Moving on, I'm going to quickly mention just some kind of others to consider. I would consider Kushala. She's very similar to Chavez in that she's great in all modes. She's great in War. She has dual immunity. She has a Nullify. She has the Soul Barb. She even has the degen off of the SP3, and she's also the best content creator design champion in the whole game. Trust me, I got to help design her, so I know who is best. Also, Juggernaut is phenomenal, right? And people forget about this because Juggernaut is good in Battlegrounds and known for that SP2 nuke. But one of the reasons why I waited to rank him was I could ban him in Battlegrounds, but I also wanted this. I wanted this buff Nullify. I like that. I like having that in a champion. I'm looking forward to actually pulling him more. I know for some players, or Battlegrounds specifically, they even talk about maybe not liking that because with Mystic Dispersion, he might shoot too high, but I don't know. I do more than Battlegrounds. I do Questing, I do War, I do all the things. So I like that. And then he's got the stagger off of his heavy too. So he's actually a good champion, not just purely a nuke in Battlegrounds. The one thing I'll mention with that though is think about if you're a high tier Battlegrounds player, if you rely on users in Battlegrounds, how easily Kabam turns him off in metas with a, I think it's with a non-damaging debuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. He's going to be amazing. Just keep in mind that sometimes you might not get to play with your favorite toy there. We'll also talk quickly about Werewolf by Night. Phenomenal champion, great dual threat in Battlegrounds. I've talked about him at length. Think about what he even does to some of those damaging debuffs there. Where is it? Heal blocking and incoming poisons. Thank you. Have a minus 90% duration. Any champion that has like a power gain, I love. The signature ability is not bad. Not one that I would necessarily throw a bunch of Sig Stones into to take him to Sig 200. So I think this is really one of those champions you've got to really enjoy playing them, and they've got to be really strong in a mode you enjoy. Pretty hard pressed to think of a mode though that Werewolf by Night is not good in. So there's that. I'll quickly call out, I don't have them, but Rintra I think would be a phenomenal choice. Ozfan, channel member actually of my channel in our private chat or the members only chat, was talking about that today. Actually used a gem on him, took him to Sig 40. Personally, I like the Sig. I really like it. Ozfan even pointed out, like, I like healing. That's not bad. Again, in Battlegrounds, I know some people who use Rintra in Battlegrounds attacking don't like the Sig. The power can start to really mess them up. But you know, and then also part of what makes Rintra so good, and I'm going to tie this in with Sasquatch, who is my last on the, like, just others to consider, are their health pool is part of what makes them a really difficult Battlegrounds defender. Take them to rank 4 while everyone's trying to punch up with a rank 3. Part of why they're not as good as they once were is because everyone's punching sideways now. Make people punch up. So that might be something you consider. Also, Rintra and Sasquatch, they're one of the things when you use them offense is you want them to crit, and they don't have overly high crit rates. Well, if they're punching that much stronger, if their attack rating is that much higher, right, then maybe it doesn't hurt quite as bad when they don't crit. So that's what I consider. And then, of course, as I said, remember rule number 1. There's a lot of Mystic champions. You see them every month on my tier list who are worthy of taking to rank 4. If they're your favorite champion, go with them. Like, I would even consider White Tiger because she's that good. Shothra too. I'm not going to name them all. That was my number 1. For me, it's a clear-cut America Chavez, and then the others. Let's go ahead and move on to Mutant. Moving on to Mutant, for me, there's a clear-cut 1 and 2 best. The first one is Onslaught. I literally used him today in the Masterful Mutants Challenge. I think he's fantastic. We had a really good discussion on my Discord server just last night about his SIG. I personally like it. Now, some really smart Battleground players like Zuzu and others are saying, like, hey, in BGs, there's not a big difference because the fights don't last long enough between like a SIG 200 and an Unawakened. And that's right. And they're smart and they know what they're talking about. But one, Onslaught's good in BGs either way, and also in questing long form, which I was using him for. Reed was pointing this out. This is a really nice benefit to his SIG. And again, if prestige is your thing, he's a prestige monster. I hesitated to even point that out, but I should. It's at least there and for people. He's fantastic. I love him. He's been great. The other one that I think is like a kind of obvious head and shoulders above is Mr. Sinister. Not coincidentally, also today on stream, Mr. Sinister and Onslaught took every single fight. They've been fantastic. Onslaught, I think, has like more versatility, let's call it. Mr. Sinister, where he's great, is more just blunt force shut it down. Now, Kabam can shut him down a little bit with stun immune nodes. I've done the video on Mr. Sinister's Awakening. Actually done 2 videos. One was a bit longer, a lot more nuanced. One's a little bit shorter. We did it Spicy Bite style, trying to really put this in for you. I really like his signature ability a lot. For me, it's very helpful in Battlegrounds, but it's also incredibly helpful in questing and things along the way, especially as you build them up over the course of a quest. They're both great. They're both extremely strong in a variety of modes. And I don't think you mind investing in either of their SIGs. So they really fit a lot of the criteria. Now, there is a number 3, but she's a tier down. Now, I think when I redo the next version of this video, I believe that Dazzler is going to be there. I just couldn't put her there yet because honestly, I don't have enough experience with her. I've been on vacation for like 3 weeks or like 2.5 weeks. I've been home. I'm working on some Necropolis challenges. You can see I've taken her to SIG 115. She's one of the champions I plan to take to SIG 200. For those of you wondering why, a lot of it's going to be for this, when she performs the dashing dash, she's going to get that pursuit, which just means a champion cannot evade. This isn't like a percentile sort of thing, or it can't be turned off. It's not class disadvantage or things like that. This is like, they just can't evade. I want that as long as it can go. It can go all the way up to 8 seconds. So I purposely got her from the past. I got her early. I awakened her with a Mutant Awakening gem. She's been everything I hoped she would be. And so if you think of it and you like her and you've got her, I would highly consider her, especially if you enjoy war, battlegrounds, and questing. I know that sounded ridiculous, but it felt like it's something that should be said. Probably not great in long form, but as I showed in my True Champion video, she took out like 1.1 million health like it was nothing. It was pretty insane. And the other ones I would just consider, I just have them written down. And the Mutant class is interesting because it's gotten so strong. I think it's grown a lot. But I would consider Domino if you're a BG's fiend, right? And you took her to SIG 200. I would consider Havoc. Havoc is like one of those champions that just, I think they're like the MCoC cockroach. And I mean that as a compliment. They will never go away. They're incredibly well built. They have multiple ways of doing damage. They have the damage over time source. They've got the big SP3. They've got that energy resistance, and it can also ramp them up. Like for a while, they were the best attacker to go into onslaughts, especially for people like me who didn't at the time know how to evade onslaughts SP1. These sorts of things keep coming up with Havoc. If you play Havoc well, I think it makes a lot of sense. And at rank 4, punching down on rank 3 is probably going to be a really good Battlegrounds dual threat again. Already good, but I think punching up, give them that time, and then everyone catch up again. But I think it makes a lot of sense. And then the last one, it's hard for me not to mention Dust. You know how much I love Dust. But then is Weapon X, especially if Battlegrounds are your thing. I've done so many Weapon X videos showing how amazing he is. I know that we all think of him as a defender, but I really think the narrative on that has changed. People see how amazing he is offensively, good in questing too. All right, let's go ahead and move on to science. For me personally, there's a clear 1 and 2 best. It is definitely Titania. She's amazing. I know some people seem to think she's only good in Battlegrounds or short fights. I just want you to know that I took her on the Necropolis Gods Worthy Challenge, and I messed up. It's my own fault. I messed up for gameplay reasons, but she really should have soloed Wiccan, which you might be saying like, dude, Wiccan, not that hard. That's fine, but that's a significant amount of health to get through in a not that long a time. She has a loop with her SP1 and her SP2. In fact, I'm going to show it to you because I think a lot of people don't even realize it is there. Where is it? Here, let's do the SP1 and the SP2. So this SP1, right, the non-stacking debilitate debuff, you do that, and then you're going to go into your SP2. And if you can utilize your haymakers well, you're going to get massive bursts of damage. You don't have to actually go to your special 3 and rely on that. Plus, she's buff immune, which is a big deal. The other one that I put in the same tier is Photon. Now, you've heard me call her like a perfect champion. She's a threatening defender. in Battlegrounds, but also she has so much utility and pretty good damage once she's ramped, and the ramp doesn't take that long. For questing, for war, I'm going to use her in long form as well too. Remember, when she's awakened, she goes immune to neutralize. Rentra is about to become a prevalent defender again in Battlegrounds. And then this really hits that whole, like, if you're putting in SIGs or if you're ramping your champion up, you're taking them to rank 4, you can put your 6 stones into her, take her to SIG 200, which is a big deal for her defensively in Battlegrounds. So she makes a lot of sense. And then if you happen to enjoy war or Battlegrounds, she's strong in those modes as well. We'll go a little more quickly because I don't want this video to take too long. For me, 3 was definitely Hulk. Again, monster in war, monster in Battlegrounds, monster in AQ, right? Phenomenal champion, make him strong. Taking him rank 4 probably really puts him back in that dual threat category, making the defensive threat strong. Silk, the one thing with Silk is, does she need that? Not that you even necessarily need it, but you're primarily using her offense, and her burst is so huge. I don't know if you really need it. Now, if you got it at rank 3 and you're facing some like rank 4 Rintras or Sasquatches and she's struggling, then maybe she needs it. So I would consider it. You know how much I love Luke Cage. I would recommend Luke Cage more for your slightly smaller accounts because he's so insanely versatile. He rarely reaches the highs of any of the other champions I just mentioned, but he's like such a solid 8 or 9 in so many different places. I love that champion. And the other ones just to mention, and Science is so incredibly strong. This was hard to kind of whittle it down. Definitely Spider-Ham. We already talked about him in Battlegrounds. And then Count Nefaria is actually my dark horse for who I would potentially take up as my first rank 4 Science champion. If you follow my channel a bit, you know there's been a bit of a saga with Nefaria, where a lot of you told me like, hey, he's better than you think he is. I dove down, did a lot of testing, and you were right. And we did that video, called him like a controversial champion, because there are other people who think he's not that great too. I think there's just some nuance there where when you get him to SIG 200, you realize, ooh, in PvP modes going up against Mystic Dispersion, there's a thing here, and it charges him up like a battery. All right, let's go ahead and move on to tech. Okay, I'm ready for a lot of you to throw like rotten fruit at me, and that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm behind a screen. You can't hit me. But the fact of the matter is, I found that funny. For me, it's definitely Prowler. I promise you, and within 7 days of this video going live, I will get out a Prowler video. I just set that deadline for myself. I got to write that down. Guys, he's great. He was great before I even had him awakened. And I put the 6 stones in. I put my money where my mouth is. I don't just say the things, I mean them. And you know that. You've watched the channel. You know this for years now. I'm taking him to SIG 200. If I don't get him awakened with these 7-star crystals from the Necropolis, whatever, these challenges, you guys know, the Karina's challenges, I will take him to SIG 200. But here's the thing. At SIG 180, absolute nuke in Battlegrounds. Absolute nuke, going straight to special 2s and beating up the champions he's supposed to beat up. He's got so much utility. He's also got that pursuit like we just talked about in other places. I'll save a lot of it for the Prowler video. Remember, he's even got immunities. He is a fantastic champion. For me, he is the best one, and he fits all the criteria. I do enjoy him, so that helps, right? But then also extremely strong in modes I enjoy: Battlegrounds, War, Questing. I enjoy those. And then also someone I am happy to put my 6 stones into, take him to SIG 200, make him rank 4, get all that bang for my buck. Now, the other one, and I do really like this champion. I think they're phenomenal, and they also fit every single one of these categories. It's just, I'm not going to put 6 stones into them. I'm not going to take them SIG 200. I know people who have. They're incredibly happy with it. I love SIG 88. I'm really happy with that. He's great in Battlegrounds, great attacker, actually pretty good defender, great in questing. So many people show that. MSD has shown this. I've shown this. So many people. He's a fantastic champion. He's got good utility for the tech class. I really like him. And oh, I know some people listen. I'm talking about Shocker, by the way. This has all been about Shocker for a while. Now, for me, those are the two like clear cut, like when you're really putting down and you're analyzing it this way, okay? I'm not saying they're the clear cut better of all the champions. Remember, that's what the general tier list is. And we're going to update that. It'll be out in a few weeks. Now, moving Dawn, and I'm just going to do this as like a kind of others to consider. For me, is definitely Shuri. I know people are kind of forgot about Shuri. They're like, wait, Shuri? And it's like, yeah, remember how great she is? She's fantastic. Guardian's amazing. Really fits that whole SIG ability thing too, right? If you're willing to put in those SIGs, you're going to get so much out of them. Omega Sentinel. I love that Omega Sentinel is still kicking, still good. She's so insanely versatile in this game, especially if like war is your thing or questing. I know she can be a little slow in Battlegrounds. I get that. but if you take him to rank 4, it's probably going to help her out a little bit while she's punching on those rank 3s. Red Skull, I still think is, we'll talk about this in the general tier list. He's still a great dual threat champion. He's phenomenal offensively. Get him hooked up with that Hulkbuster relic. Again, I've been talking about that in the private members chat too, and then on stream the other day. And then the other one I would consider, I just don't have them, but I would genuinely consider Spider-Man Stark Enhance. He might be my favorite to play tech champion of all of them. I just don't have him as a 7-star. A lot of it for me is nostalgia when he was like a 5-star dominating the game, but he's back. He's awesome. He's incredible. If you can get him awakened, he makes a lot of sense, especially if you enjoy Battlegrounds. So that's it for tech for me. Lots of options. And of course, remember, there's all the options that I haven't said too. We list them in the general tier list. These are just what I would immediately go towards. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the skill class. Skill class is incredibly unique. You know this, right? You know my thoughts on this. There's one champion. It's Crossbones. One, he is one of my favorite champions to play. But two, and more importantly, he's incredibly powerful. For me on the general tier list, he's the only 7-star. He's the only 7-star skill champion in our highest tier. I believe in him. Not every Illuminati does, so keep that in mind. He's also a champion that you're happy to put SIGs into, right? And just to be abundantly clear, and I've been saying this in so many videos lately because I think it's important that people know, I keep seeing this mistake being made. He does not need to be awakened to be good. I've shown fights with him at low SIG on hazard shift. Okay? Yes, I'm not going to tell you that it's not helpful. It is. But what ends up happening is you can use your overcharge, I think it's called. It's the whatever you get when you go back and all that good stuff, right? And you reduce the ability of accuracy right away. And then you're going to get your Furies up because you do, and then you just need to keep them up. Yes, it'd be better if he was awakened, don't get me wrong, but that's not the only way he gains Furies. There just seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about the way he works. I've done videos on him. Go watch them. And if you're like, I still don't believe you, go watch Trappy. Trappy has done phenomenal videos, an insanely high skill Battlegrounds player, even taking Rintra. Yes, Rintra, with that crazy neutralize with Crossbones. For me, Crossbones is by far, clear and away, the best option, okay? Now we're going to quickly talk about the other options in the skill class. For me, this would definitely be Chilth. She's incredibly powerful. I have not been able to play her at rank 3. I want to take her to rank 3. She just keeps getting passed over by champions right now that I actually need. Like I need to rank Deathless Thanos for the content. There is a chance that Chilth gets moved into this tier for me in just a month or two, but I need to play her at rank 3 before I could do that, but she is great. Mole Man, you could have a really fantastic dual threat champion there. Bullseye, obviously, the defender, right? Think about how hard a rank 4, get that health pool up, make it impossible for people to take them out with like their Cosmic Ghost Riders and things like that in Battlegrounds. Mantis, any champion where you're getting to like your special 2 and wanting the fight to end, well, you take them to the highest rank possible. Champions like that typically need to be at the highest rank. They don't punch up very well. Mantis is obviously doing well, but if you take her to rank 4, she'll be doing even better. Shang-Chi in a similar vein, although he's got significantly more utility than she does. Black Cat, just help keep her alive, make her hit harder. Those fights will be that much quicker. Hit Monkey, I really like Hit Monkey. Think about how quick Hit Monkey would do. Also, one of the biggest complaints about Hit Monkey is he's a little bit squishy. I'm not going to tell you that's not true, but one way to get around that is get that health pool even higher, get that attack even higher, gets fights down. And then Atuma. The skilled defenders are starting to have a thing where champions like Dazzler, Negasonic Teenage Warhead are coming out and those sorts of things. So I'm a little hesitant to fully like say, yes, go invest in them because they're defenders. You're wanting for Battlegrounds. But the fact of the matter is, the bigger the health pool it is, the longer it's going to take and the more likely people are to make a mistake. Or if they don't have that ideal option, they're in for a world of hurt. Plus, Atuma is not a bad attacker either. So that is a skill class, and we've got one last class here in Cosmic. All right, the Cosmic class, not quite as restricted as the skill class here, but it is similar in that for me, there's just 2 champions. There's a clear tier of the quote-unquote best. The first one's going to be, you know, to the surprise of no one, Deathless Thanos. I've been telling you, I think he's the best 7-star Cosmic Champion in the game and probably the best Cosmic Champion in the game as it continues to evolve and what's asked out of us. Now, the one thing with him that is just kind of like something to keep in mind is he's not going to handle everything for you. That champions don't do that anymore. And yes, we are being asked to have different ways to handle, like, basically auto block, right? Undermine has become a thing, and we'll get to that in a minute. But as far, he's got all the immunities, he's got like the armor shatter, he has healing off his SB1. I did the new champ video on him. I've seen a lot of you who watched that. You recognize how good he is. He's good in long form, he's good in battlegrounds, he's good in war, he's good in questing. He's a phenomenal, amazing champion. He is not broken. I have no concerns about a nerf. I would rank for mine right now. Like, if I pulled a cosmic gem, it would be, all right. Now the other option, and I do think they are in the same tier, is Serpent. Serpent is also fantastic, and I think because of he came in so hard and was such a jerk defender, right? I happen to be lucky. I had an America Chavez, I had a Kushala. I could handle him. Handle, not, I didn't say dominate, I said handle. But he's so brutal, and he's still a good defender. He's still one of the defenders that people reach for in battlegrounds. But the thing is, he's great in questing, and he's great in long form, and he's actually pretty good in war as well. It's not an overly simple, it's not an overly difficult play style. I've used him. He was great in the Worthy Gods challenge as well. Ramps up. He's just not a nuke in battlegrounds. And as we've said multiple times in the top 10s, if the worst thing you can say about a champion is they're not a nuke in battlegrounds, then they might be a really good champion, just not a nuke in battlegrounds. And then the other ones that we'll just quickly mention, of course, are Adam Warlock, Null, Venom. For me, Venom would be one that'd be particularly intriguing, because Venom, when they're great, right, is critting and getting all those bleeds. Now imagine a Venom punching down. Think about when you used your 3-star against 7-star. Think about when you used your 7-star rank 3 against 7-star rank 2s, or against, goodness, 6 stars. Might be a thing there. Vox, to me, is very interesting. Hopefully you've seen my recent Vox video. I know a lot of you have. I called Vox like the savior of this class, because they're so incredibly unique in it. There's no one like them, and they're handling the auto block with the undermine for you. They don't have to land their degen buffs, but man, their debuff, doing tremendous damage. There's the SP3 route, and they can even handle miss. So I don't put them in the same tier as far as overall power level, but as far as like value to an account, I think that could be interesting. Just want to put that out there. You know, I love Medusa. I actually like currently Medusa more than Scream. Part of that might be me not having Scream, but I love Medusa. And it's not just shutting down robots. If I look at the shutting down of robots more as like icing on top of the cake when it comes to Medusa. I've done a lot of Medusa videos, so I think you know. I just mentioned Scream. Throw out there. She's way too new, though, for me to really recommend. And then, of course, Angela. I am not a fan, but I know so many smart players who do, and she completely fits that whole idea on champion you might enjoy, who might be good in Mozu, who also is a great SIG up champion too, right? You want her at that SIG 200 if you can get her. So that's it for the first iteration. Let me know what would be more helpful to you, or like more helpful ways. I did want to specifically format this differently. There's obviously very different formatting than the best 6 and 5 stars to rank. And this is different than just a general tier list. There's so many champions on our general tier list that are in that second tier who are so worthy of your first rank 4, your second rank 4, your third rank 4, and all of that. We're the ones always saying, look, we don't rank bad champions. You're going to know how to play them, so go for it. So make sure you keep that in mind. If I didn't mention your favorite champion, maybe throw them into the comments and I'll tell you what I think. But general, you're not going to like a crappy champion. So as usual, let me know what you think we got right. Let me know what you think we got wrong. Thank you so much for watching. And have fun with your first rank 4. I think it's not that far away. Take care.